In today's video, I'm going to show you guys some of the meals I'm eating here traveling in Italy as a fruit-based vegan. I just went for a run and I'm having a little snack, some mangoes and cucumbers, and I'm having some figs and some lime for the cucumbers. The figs and the mangoes here are so good. I also just want to share this video to show you all that it's really easy to eat healthy when you're traveling, to stay in your routine. My parents brought their bikes, so they're currently out cycling. I'm more of a runner girl when it comes to like traveling and exploring the area. And for me, it's really important to keep my routine when I'm traveling. I'm not as like structured maybe as I am at home, but getting in daily movement and eating nourishing, healthy, vibrant foods is definitely a priority for me because I want to feel my absolute best when I'm traveling so that I can have fun having all these experiences and I don't feel sluggish and drained and tired during my vacation, because the vacation is for rejuvenation and not for making us more heavy, drained, making us maybe even gain weight because we're eating so much junk food and eating out so much. No, that's not what a vacation is for me. So yeah, that's why I made this video today and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's lunchtime and guess what I am making? I mean, you cannot go to Italy and not eat pasta. And I found these tagliatelle, which are with spirulina and wheat flour. Now these do have gluten, and as you maybe know if you know my channel, I typically don't eat gluten because I've just found for myself that I do not digest it the best, even though I'm not gluten intolerant or anything. But these pasta thingies, tagliatelle, they were laughing at me so much when I was at the supermarket. So I was like, I'm gonna buy them. I think the spirulina might give them a little nice and salty taste because I'm not gonna add salt to my pasta sauce because I do not like adding salt to my food, as you also know if you know my channel. But I'm gonna add a lot of fresh veggies. So I have some tomatoes. I have 1 bell pepper, onion, 1 carrot and 3 zucchinis, and I'm just going to chop all that up, put it in a pot with some water, and then I'm adding into that pot with the veggies the pasta already, so that the kind of starch from the pasta goes into the sauce and it just makes the best consistency. I typically don't buy tomatoes from the can, I just make it fresh. I kind of discovered that recipe when I was in India and I didn't have anything, like there was no tomato sauce, there was just pasta and fresh tomatoes at the market. So I made this sauce and it was like the best pasta meal I had in my life, even though I hadn't added anything. Oh yeah, and one thing I'm going to add as well is a little bit of sugar to make the sauce a bit more sweet, because we don't want it to taste bland, of course. So sugar is always my way to go to give it some taste. When I'm, not as much by myself, or maybe people who eat the same way as I am, which my parents are not, then it can be, I guess, maybe a little bit tempting sometimes to not make the healthiest food choices, which for me so far on this vacation hasn't been the case yet, because I always make sure that I take space for myself as well sometimes. I go into nature by myself, I ground, I reconnect with my own energy. That's really important for me. We typically go shopping every other day. So, I always make sure we have healthy fruit and food in the house, lots of vegetables, lots of fruits. When I'm surrounded by all this amazing food, mangoes, melons, figs, I want to eat these foods. I don't want them to go bad, so I look forward to them. What we're doing here, having our own Airbnb, is the easiest way to ensure you're going to eat healthy, because obviously when you're in a hotel and you have a buffet, then there are all these foods that you can eat, and I think it's probably a little bit harder to make sure you're eating healthy, even though a lot of hotels, do offer fruit on the buffet. I think it's definitely nice to have the option to make your own meals that you really enjoy and to go to the supermarket. I also really love we also went to different markets. I love when I'm traveling, going to different markets and exploring the area, kind of, you know, getting to know how do the locals shop, how do they, you know, live their everyday life. I think it's a really, really fun activity to do when you're traveling, to go food shopping, whether it's the market or whether even it's just the supermarket. I love being in supermarkets in other countries. It's so much fun. Like I could spend hours in there, like checking out all the different products and, you know, finding the best produce. I would say the produce here in Italy is so good. Like the veggies, the fruits, everything has so much flavor and it tastes so natural. So I'm just gonna put these tomatoes in here. I'm also gonna put the sugar in to make it nice and sweet. All right. Next thing is gonna be the onion. All right, so the pasta is done. It smells so good. And one last thing I forgot to mention when it comes to eating healthy when you're, you know, traveling and with your family, maybe you feel tempted, is that the moments I do feel tempted to eat something that maybe isn't in alignment with what I choose, because I'm maybe, you know, in the energy of people who don't eat the way I eat so much. In those moments, I always circle back to why, like why am I doing this? Why am I eating a healthy, clean diet? Why do I choose to not consume animal products, for example? Not that I feel tempted to eat those anymore, but you know, I talk to a lot of people who do feel that way, that when they're with their family, they feel tempted to go back to animal products. And I've been there too at the very beginning of my journey. Now I have just disconnected that link of eating animal flesh or, you know, cow secretions from that being food. But yeah, in those moments I always circle back to why. And for me, my why is, I have a lot of whys, but I think the main one is that my body is my temple. My body is my home. It's the only home I have. Of course, I do also live in a place and I like that one to be nice and clean and everything, but my main home is my body. And I want that body to be this beautiful temple, this beautiful home where it's so clean inside. It's so pretty, so beautiful. I just feel so yeah, just so comfortable inside my home. I love it so much in there. And that's why I choose to eat this way, because when I do not, then I feel like it's a bit dirty in there. I don't feel as comfortable in there. And that's just not how I like to go through my life. So that's my main why. And then the other two whys are, I want to be an amazing inspiration for others to be jumping on the wagon. So I have this vision of a world where obesity and depression no longer exists, and those two are very, you know, closely linked. So I have this vision of a world where all the people living on this planet are so fit, slim, vibrant, healthy, sexy, and just so glowing. I have the desire to show others what's possible, to be a lighthouse, to be a North Star for them, so that they can become North Stars for others, so that we're creating this huge revolution. So that's my why. That's what I always circle back to in those moments when I feel tempted. And my other why is, if I ever have kids, which I'm not attached to the idea of having kids, but it would be nice, you know, and if that ever happens, I want to be the best, most outstanding example for my kids. And obviously, you know, when you're a mother, you're also breastfeeding, and I want that breast milk to be super clean and healthy and just transfer as much goodness into those kids as possible. So that's also why, even though I'm not sure yet if I'll ever have kids, but yeah, those are kind of the whys for me. That, and I recommend, if you eat a diet that is very different from what your family or the rest of the world eats, you need to be super clear of why you're doing this. And, you know, in the beginning of your journey, maybe even journaling every single day, reminding yourself, writing down every single day, why am I doing this? Especially if you're looking to lose weight, which is, you know, it requires a lot of changes in your habits. So remembering every day, why is being lean so important to me? And yes, you can be pretty healthy without being lean, but if you want a top-notch health, then being lean is just like, it's a requirement. So yeah, that's also a big why for me. Big ramble. I'm gonna enjoy my pasta. I'm gonna show you a little bit more in depth outside because the lighting here is terrible. Also, sorry by the way for the terrible lighting in this video, but that's what we're dealing with here in this Airbnb. All right, I've got a huge bowl of pasta. I'm going to enjoy this entire pasta now in this beautiful garden. I love it so much here. Like, if I would ever buy a home, this is what I would buy. It's so beautiful here. So I have my pasta, and people often ask me if pasta is a weight loss food, and I definitely think it can be, depending on how big your stomach volume is, how big of portions you like to eat. And what I always like to do when I eat pasta is I make sure I have it with a lot of veggies so that I feel the satiation of the food. And yeah, and as you all know, before I'm eating, I always like to just take a moment to be grateful. Thank the fact that I have food, that I'm able to choose what I eat, how much I want to eat. It's such a privilege that only so few people on the planet have, and just it doesn't have to be long. Just 1 second of taking that moment to be grateful, I feel always helps me to slow down when I'm eating, to be more present, more mindful, more just chewing, absorbing all the calories inside the food so that I actually feel energized, revitalized after eating, which, you know, is what eating is about, to get energy and have the desire to go back and live our lives and do stuff. I'm here with my mom. Hello. Okay.
Oh, das ist schön.
Good morning. I just woke up. Now I look forward to have some fruit. Huge honeydew melon, which is such a classic for me by now. So I just cut it open and then I just remove the seeds and scoop it out. It's so good. So I'm gonna do that now, and then I'm gonna enjoy the breakfast together with my parents, my family outside. Oh my god, this one looks so good. Look at that. It's so orange. This is gonna be my breakfast. Look at how buttery smooth and ripe this melon is. This is gonna be so tasty. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna have now, and I'll see you in another meal. Everything is destroyed after huge rain yesterday. I've never seen these kinds of waves in Italy. So tasty. Smells so good. I just came back from the beach. My family is still over there. It's not very far from here. And I decided to already come back a little bit earlier to make some food. And I'm going to have one of my all-time favorite meals, a banana-only smoothie. I'm not going to add any water. I'm literally just blending up these bananas with a stick blender. And this was kind of a lucky incident. I didn't plan for this, but this Airbnb actually had a stick blender, which is definitely really, really convenient because that means I can make banana smoothies. I don't really enjoy eating bananas straight from the peel, but blending them up with frozen berries or just on their own is so good. So I'm going to have that now. And yeah, stick blender is a great option. Even if your Airbnb does not come with a stick blender, this is something that you can travel with very conveniently if you eat a fruit-based vegan, you know, diet. I'm actually surprised that stick blenders aren't more widely spread in the raw foodist community, because they're actually a great alternative to vacuum blending because they do not oxidize, make the smoothie oxidize as much compared to like a normal blender. And again, they're so easy to clean and quite cheap as well. They don't take up as much space. So I'm a big fan of stick blenders, and I'm going to make a whole dedicated video on stick blenders soon, where I'm also going to share the model I have, which is really, really nice for making nice creams as well. And because I'm not adding any water to the smoothie, I make sure I rehydrate on water beforehand and afterwards, because bananas do not have as high of a water content compared to the other fruits, so it can make you a little bit thirsty sometimes. But yeah, I'm just going to add as many bananas as I can fit in here. I think I'm going to add one more. Yeah. And now I'm going to blend this up in the kitchen. And be right back. Smoothie is all blended up, and of course we're drinking the smoothie with style. Living the luxurious life. It's so good. It's so good. And one thing I also want to mention when it comes to smoothies and weight loss, but also just in general, if you want to have good digestion and not feel bloated, you always want to make sure you really chew your smoothie, you sit down, you slow down. Because now that we're already pre-digesting the food with the blender, it can be really easy to just gulp it all down in one go. And I've done that a lot in the past. And what that has led me to is, first of all, overeating, overconsumption of calories, and feeling bloated and just not digesting it very well. So smoothies are great. Smoothies are awesome. And still, we always want to give our body the signal that it's food by having it create the saliva, by really chewing it well. So, it's so good.